everyone and welcome back to Charming Raindrops. So today I am setting up my second journal of 2024. So I'm doing a cover page. I printed the font off from Canva and then I copied it across onto my page, and I'm just outlining it in a black fine liner because what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint and decorate this page, and pencil just won't work, so I need to have done the fine liner and then rubbed out the pencil, otherwise it will be very obvious when I come to paint it, which I'm going to do in but a moment. So I've decided I'm going to make it orange, and I'm using my Derwent paints, and there's a colour called Mango which I think is going to be absolutely perfect for this, and I have a brush pen which is quite nice. You just put a bit of water in it. That's one way of doing it without my paper getting too wet, because I've got a little bit of control over how much water is going on my page. But today this time I'm road testing the Scribble and Dot. It's 160 GSM paper, which is absolutely amazing. I've also decided to change out my dates. So I decided to change the months into quarters, and I am going to put the sections into, so they go from every month will go from the 22nd to the 21st. That's when I get paid, so therefore then that means that it should be easier for me to budget, and it should be easier for me to work things out. I'm also going to colour the writing in a darker orange, and then I'm starting to stick these green leaves on all of my pages. You'll see they'll make an interesting comeback. And I've done a green border just to cover up where the orange didn't quite hit the edges. I've decided that for the second part of this year I'm going to have a word that I try and live by. So I've decided to use the word courage this time. So every quarter will have a word, but the overarching word will be the yearly word, and for this year that's courage. You'll have to wait till my July plan with me page to see what the word of the quarter is, because that's when we'll be setting that one up. So what I've done is I've printed off some more word lettering styles for me to copy out, and then I have drawn some leaves this time. So I'm going to colour those in, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a little bit about. Well, I'm going to take the definition first from the internet, from dictionary, and I'm going to write positive phrases inside the leaves that are linked to the things that I'm going to do to try and have more courage. It's not be more courage, it's have more courage. So yeah, that's what these leaves are for. I found that I thought of about 6 things, so therefore I have 6 leaves. So you can see I'm going to write in the definition that I downloaded off a dictionary online, and it just means that I can look back and I can see what I planned, and I can see whether I'm getting there, whether I'm even. I mean, it's not a case of have I got there. It's almost a case of, moving in the right direction. Everything is small steps and everything is moving in the right direction. So it's, for example, moving my dates so that I don't do calendar months. I do the 22nd to the 21st. That just helps me in so many ways, because then anything like budgeting, I can think about things like, so my food shops and my meal plans can be done on that monthly basis. And it just means that it just fits my lifestyle a bit better. And I found that it was working, but it wasn't working as well as it should. So when I looked at my previous bullet journal, I found that this might be the answer. So that was a thought process behind that, is that what would make life simpler. There's going to be a lot of rubbing out in this one, because I did a lot of pencil work first. So, because there's a lot more artwork now. So I've decided to make it more artistic, more creative, more me. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the changing of the dates. So I figured that whatever it is has got to work for me. So although, the Bujo system is supposed to be a month by month basis, I have decided that that's just not going to work for me. I tried it for 6 months and I just found that it was just getting really confusing. So I decided at that point that at the end of the day, it's, what works best for us all. And you've got to live your life in what works best for you. And for me, that's working payday to payday. It just means that I can just plan better, which is the whole point of the process. Anyway, so back to the word of the year. So I'm calling it's the word of the year, but it's the word of the 6 months, to be honest, because I got this idea from Jashi Corinne, whose channel I will link below, because she does quite a lot of really interesting journaling, which I've learnt an awful lot from her, and I love her podcast. But yeah, I just thought that it's good to have that point where, this is what you're working towards, and it's what you want to do rather than what you feel you have to do. You want to feel like you're growing, and I feel like if I've got a word, I can grow towards it. I can look at it in a month's time and say, right, so, look at my 6 points and think, am I living with these values? A lot of what I'm doing at the moment is finding the values that I want to live by. And that also includes setting boundaries and making sure that I'm living the life that I want to live and not living under somebody else's agenda. I find that happened a heck of a lot, where it's all been about other people, and I just find that I need to be me. I need to have that opportunity to do what I want to do, to live the life I want to live under the values that I want to possess. So TED Talk over, that's my word of the year. And then we're going to have a word of the quarter, which links to the word of the year, and just, it's all like little things that underpin. So I'm now colouring in the word, and I just feel like it's really nice to have a page that you can just go back to and just keep looking at it and go, yes, that's what I want to do. That's how I want to do it. And, sometimes you've just, there's the self-help side of it, the self-care. And then there's the boldness of the let's go out, let's do something, let's find out who Vicky really is and what I want to do. And I don't know, I just feel like a word of the year just gives me a little bit of... I don't know, it just makes me think a little bit about what is going on in my life and maybe what I can do to make positive changes. For the first 6 months I've made loads of changes here, there and everywhere. But, this time I've made a bit more of a radical change because I looked at it and thought this really isn't working. Like with the dates, what works best for me? It's my journal system. So, and I would encourage you to then find out what works best for you. Now, the TED Talk is truly over now because I'm not going to change the subject, but I'm going to move on a little bit. So in my leaves, I have written what... just the first things that came into my mind when I picked the word. So, it's all about choosing happiness, putting things behind you, growing in a positive light. It's all very, they're all very sort of throwaway phrases, but I feel that to me they're actually starting to mean something in the journey that I am trying to share, and the journey that I'm trying to do, and where I want to be in my life. So yeah, that's kind of word of the year and the date change, all in one foul swoop. So if we move on to we're going to go over 2 pages, so because the next one's going to be movies, and I need to do a printout for that, which I keep forgetting to do. So the next spread is about TV series. So continuing on the jungle theme, because the book is jungle themed. If you see the cover of the Scribble and Dot, it is jungle themed. And I've kind of taken that to the next level, and I've printed out some pictures, and then I've just been drawing my own versions, because I've decided that I spent a lot of time cutting and sticking, and I kind of want to do something a little bit more artistic now. So, I mean, I don't know how long it's going to last, but while one's happy, let's carry on. So, what I've done here is I've drawn some leaves around a sign, and that'll be like a wooden sign. So the sign will be brown. And then this is for my TV series. So this was another idea that I got from Jess. But basically, I am always losing track of where I've got to in TV series. And then I watch a different one. And then we move on. And it's like, I'm confused about where to find it for a start. You know, is it on Disney Plus? Is it on Netflix? I get so lost. So this is going to be the answer that will tell me where I have got to and which series I'm watching and how important they are to me. I think the next thing I need to talk about is my Care Bear ruler. I do love my brand new Care Bear ruler that I got off Shin. Yeah, that'll be making a lot of appearances in the next little while, because when I need a short ruler, that's the one that's coming out. And we're going to roll out some more pencil lines. So, what I'm going to do is I've got 4 columns, and I'm going to colour the tops of the columns green. And then in the first column, it's going to be... Oh, let's get rid of all the rubber shavings. They're going to drive me nuts. They're just driving me nuts. So I'm going to colour in the top bars. Now, these pens are called Whisper pens. They are, no word of a lie, 20 years old. They feel 20 years old. They probably are 20 years old, but they work like a dream. So you get a brush at one end and you get a fine liner at the other end. So I think the only thing, you can't buy them anymore, but the only thing I think is anywhere near what they are is a Tombow. So I will be devastated when these run out, because I think they were very expensive at the time, and Tombows are very expensive. But, you know, we will see what happens. I can start looking for my next set, because they are going to dry up, and that does make me sad. But at the end of the day, I'm going to enjoy them while they're here. So I'm just going to colour in my leaves in different colour greens. So I've got different colour greens for the different leaves so that they stand out a little bit better. And I've used my super tips for this particularly, just because it allows me to... I've got 100 different colours of super tips now. So, you know, it's like, let's go forth and see how many of the 100 we can use in one spread. Why not? Anyway, that's not why we're here. We are here to talk television. So there's a lot of things that I watch on television, and then there's gaps, and then there's times where it's like, have I watched that series? Have I not? Because sometimes they just they appear on streaming, and you're never quite sure how far you got. Well, I'm not anyway. So what I've decided to do is make a list of all the key ones that I have been watching, to make sure that I don't lose track of A, where to find them, and B, which series I'm on. So there's, in the left hand column, there's a tick. That means if I've watched the whole series and the series is finished, it gets coloured in, because that is a complete, done, sorted, etc. Then there's a title, so that's a title of the series. In this case, it's Clarkson's Farm. It's a naughty pleasure. I do like a good bit of Clarkson's Farm. And then there'll be a series of boxes which I'll colour in, relating to how many series I've watched and how many series there are. So with Clarkson's Farm, I can't colour in how far it's going to go, because it's not finished. I can literally just colour in the 3 boxes for the 3 series that I've watched. So, yeah, we don't know how far it's going to go. So, in the channel, we're going to put A, because it's an Amazon Prime. And then I'm going to colour in I'm going to colour in my boxes first, obviously, because I'm going to do it all in the wrong order. So I've coloured the first 3 boxes, and then I'm leaving the rest of the boxes blank, because we don't know how long it's going to take. We don't know how many more series there's going to be. And then when we do know, then we can colour in the extra. Okay, so the next one I'm going to take up 2 lines because it was NCIS LA and there were 14 series of that. I've not watched all 14. I've watched 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it 2 lines because it's finished. So it's not like we're going to suddenly get loads more. We're not going to suddenly get some more. So I can quite happily put that up the top. Grey's Anatomy is, for example, is going down the bottom because that's still going and we don't know how many series it's going to be. So now this is really annoying because it's literally 1 over 1 line. So I'm colouring the rest in black because there's no more. That is it. Once I get to the end of it, that'll be it. So that's on Amazon Prime as well. So putting that on with an A. And I'm going to let you just watch the rest because you don't need me to just natter through all of the series that I'm watching. But if anyone sees anything on that should be on the list that I should be watching, or any brilliant ideas, because although I've got a lot of box sets on the go, I always like to try new things. So so if anyone's got any good ideas, pop them in the comments below. There were a few on there that my friend will notice because they told me to watch them, and I've now watched them and thoroughly enjoyed them. So I'm always up for a really good recommendation. Let's face it, what is another page without another leaf? So, on to the next page, I've decided to, rather than putting the headings on both pages, I've decided to do one of those pointy arrow sign things. So I have drawn that out and I'm colouring it in brown, and then those will be the labels for my pages, of which the page on the left hand side, I had to get the bigger ruler out because it's too long for the small one, is a mood tracker, which is something that I'm testing out, which is something a little bit different, because I just thought it'd be nice to test something and see how it goes, and it might be good to see how I'm feeling on a regular basis, because I don't necessarily always keep a good eye on it. And to be honest, I probably should be keeping a better eye on it, because it's always important, because there might be some days where I need a bit more self-care, or I need to go and read my book a bit more, you know, or I'm just feeling a little bit lower, and maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But I thought, you know, in for a penny, in for a pound, it's always worth testing something else. But I will be doing the same as what I said to begin with everything else, is I'll be running it from the 22nd to the 21st. So in June, I will be starting it on the 22nd of June. I do apologise if this is quite dark. I managed to break my ring light. So I am going to see what I can do about fixing it or replacing it. But I really wanted to do this video. So I've got smiley faces and colours that go with smiley faces. And then the page, I'm going to stick some more leaves. Of course, you've got to stick a leaf on every page, or at least one leaf. But I feel like it's going to be more leaves. Before anyone sits there and thinks I sat and cut these out by hand, I have a Cricut. So I just uploaded the shapes, the leaf shapes, and then it cut them all out for me.